Shalom. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Radash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Hey brothers, I had a few thoughts that I wanted to share about the chariots of Israel, which many ignorantly call the UFOs. You must consider if we as people have planes, buses, cars, and helicopters to commute us from one location to another, Yahweh Shai and the heavenly hosts, which are the angels, they have the chariots of Israel, aka the UFOs, to commute them from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. And those of us in this truth, we understand this to be true. I like this photo here that I have pulled up because it serves as a depiction of what it's going to look like when Yahweh Shai comes to gather his elect from the four corners of the earth. And the chariots, they have always been there from the very beginning. And we see this here in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 26. And it tells us early on, there is none likened unto the power of Jeshurun. And Jeshurun means the people of Israel, who rideth upon the heavens in thy help, and in his excellencies on the skies. Remember, the scriptures tells us that everything be established on 2 or 3 witnesses. And King David, he knew this too as well in Psalms 104 verse 3. And it reads, who layeth up the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the winds. It's a beautiful thing to know these things, man, to know that you look up in the skies, you might be looking at an actual, on the surface, a cloud, but it's a chariot of the Lord that's actually cloaked. And we know this to be true as well because we see this in Exodus chapter 13, verse 21. And it reads, by day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of a cloud to guide them on their way. Who is the them he's guiding? The children of Israel. And by night in a pillar of fire to give them light so that they could travel by day or night. And not only that, the chariots have the ability to cloak themselves so you don't see them at all because remember, they're spiritual vehicles, all right? 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 17 tells us, and Elisha prayed and said, Lord, and the Lord in all caps is Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Beautiful thing, man, because even now you can look outside, you may not see a chariot, but know that the chariots are there because you just read in this scripture that they have the ability to cloak themselves. They're always on standby, all right? As the scripture states, they run back and forth, to and fro. They're handling the Lord's affairs, all right? Let's come out of this, and this is why, in my humble opinion, I believe that we're going to be, for lack of better terms, spiritually teleconnected in our minds to the chariots, right? Consider what's written in Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, and I'm going to come down to the 4th verse, but I'll skip around a bit. It reads, I looked and I saw a windstorm coming out of the north, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. Look at that. The chariots, they change forms, they change colors, so on and so forth. They change sizes too as well. In the center of the fire is what looked like glowing metal. Man, beautiful. Let's come down to verse 15, right? Just want to get to the point. Look at what he saw. As I looked at the creatures, and those creatures he's talking about is the angels, I saw a wheel on the ground beside each creature with its 4 faces, and that 4 faces is going to the 4 personalities. That's just describing the angels. They didn't have 4 literal faces. Verse 16, this was the appearance of the structure of the wheels. They sparkled like topaz, and all 4 looked alike. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. As they moved, they would go in any one of the 4 directions the creatures faced. The wheels did not change their directions as the creatures went. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes, meaning these chariots were able to see in every direction. But here's the point here, right? When the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved. And when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Whenever the spirit would go, they would go. and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Let me come out of this, brothers. Let me give you an example real quick, right? If you remember this scene from Doctor Strange, brothers, remember, in the kingdom, we're going to be likened unto the angels as well. We're going to have all those spiritual powers, all those capabilities, brothers. The chariot's going, you see how Doctor Strange is floating about? The chariot's going to be right there with us. They're going to be, we're going to be connected with those chariots. Those chariots are going to be living vehicles, spiritual vehicles, brothers. It's going to be a beautiful thing, brothers. You know, remember the scripture tells us eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard all that Yahweh Shai has to reveal to those that love him, right? Let's come out of this and let's grab one more verse there. Verse 20. Whenever the spirit will go, they will go, and the wheels would rise along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Whenever the creatures moved, they also moved. When the creatures stood still, they also stood still. And when the creatures rose from the ground, the wheels rose along with them, because the spirit of the living creatures was in the chariots. Brothers, we got a lot to look forward to in the kingdom, brothers. I just want to share that quick thought with you, brothers. Hopefully, this was edifying, brothers. Shalom.